Hello, everyone. We have been receiving a lot of emails and questions about city issues from community members, and we realize that many of these topics deserve clear, accessible explanation. I am Pelin Kohn, District 2 City Councilor, and we want to help everyone stay informed. We decided to record a short video to share updates and insights directly with our community, with you. And we hope this format makes it easier for everyone to stay connected and understand the issues that matter most. We plan to continue this conversation with future videos that explore other important topics and respond to your questions. And today we are talking about one of the biggest topics in Montpelier right now, the future of the Country Club Road property and why the city included a $1 sale price to developers in its recent RFQ. There has been confusion, frustration, and a lot of questions from residents. Joining us today is Montpelier City Councilor Adrienne Gil, District 1, who has been vocal about this issue. And she is one of the Country Club Road subcommittee members. So she has been involved this issue since the beginning. Adrienne, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Palin. I'm excited to talk about this.
Yeah, great. So I will just go and start with the questions. So there are a lot of rumors that we hear. So let's start with the simple one. Did the city actually offer to sell this land for $1?
Great question. I've seen all of the posts on Front Porch Forum, and this is the question I think people are most frustrated about. And I'll share all this information as my opinion, my research that I've conducted. And it's complicated, but the short answer to your question is yes. The RFQ that was sent out includes a proposed price of $1 as an incentive for developers. I just want to be crystal clear. Even before this process started, I did vote no to the contract with White and Burke and the brokerage agreement. I felt like it was really under a false sense of urgency to quickly move this process forward. And even at this stage, I don't think we should have included a sales price. I do believe that it weakens our negotiation position as a city. But as a professional, I was outvoted. So it is time for me to move on and work with the council to move forward. So my job now is to make sure that our residents, everyone out there understands what's happening and to really have this process be as transparent as possible.
Yeah, I'm very happy that you mentioned transparency because we are here today just make sure that everyone understands the process. It doesn't mean that we are supporting any specific incentives or we are not supporting like any specific details. So
Yeah.
we just want to be very neutral and just try to be transparent with every single step so everybody can understand
Yep.
what are we trying to do as a city council, as a city. So that being said, why did supporters of the RFQ want to include the $1 price?
Yeah, it's a great question. So really the base of this is to attract interest, to attract developers. It's a way to bring in, developers into our community. When we bought this property 3 years ago, there really wasn't, in my opinion, a clear plan as to what needed to be done. We had an actionable plan from White and Burke, but we know now that it needs major investment. We need to look at the roads. We need to upgrade our utilities. We need stormwater infrastructure. There's environmental testing that has to be done. And so it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to invest. And so when we, start peeling the onion back to realize what we need to do to build on that property, you know, the proposal in front of us from White and Burke was to lower the land cost which would bring more proposals. We were told that this is happening around the state and that it would put Montpelier in a good position for negotiating with developers and to attract them to this property. And so my understanding is that it's really a tool to jumpstart development. But once again, I really disagree with how this was written. I think we could have taken a little bit more time, some due diligence, bring in the community members that are experts in this field to help guide us in this process without rushing into it and really, you know, kind of having the community up in arms here.
Mhm. So I remember like a kind of a long discussion about, oh, should we include this $1 incentive or should we include another like specific amount of money? And after that discussion, we were told that it is really good one and we need that incentive to attract developers. But again, most of the people are not clear. There are different ideas out there, and some people are saying the city is giving away 138 acres. Is that true?
No, it's so complex. And, if you're not in this every day, talking to developers, talking to, the consultants that do this for a living and our planning department and our city staff, it's really not accurate that we're just giving away 138 acres. It's not an accurate statement. So even if we do end up with $1 sales price for this property, the real value of this to the city isn't selling the land. It is what gets built there. That's really the most important part of this whole complex equation. And so when we think about the city and what brings in revenue, it's property tax. So every home that's built, you pay property tax. Not everyone in the city pays property tax, but people that own their homes and qualify pay a property tax. So that is revenue to the city. So that is, in my mind, that's the city's paycheck. And so, as we all know, we have not had really any new development in the past 20 years. So the city hasn't gotten a raise. We haven't gotten a raise in our revenue, but we know that our infrastructure is failing. We have to invest in our stormwater and our, infrastructure, but we don't really have that money because we haven't had a raise. And so when we look at this property, it's really important to think about property taxes and adding to the grand list. And so that brings in new tax dollars every year. So that revenue supports our roads, it supports our infrastructure, it supports our emergency services. Everything in our community relies on the property tax revenue. So in reality, $1, the sale doesn't mean the city loses any money. It's the long-term tax benefit, which is worth much more. So I really want people to understand that. Um, as soon
Yeah.
as we get houses up there, we're going to start building our grand list, which, in a sense, in my mind, the city's going to get a little bit of a raise in our paycheck and we can start having some more money.
Okay, so I will ask a personal question here as a resident. So if taxes eventually benefit the city, then why are you against including $1?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think, having a dollar in the RFQ as just right out of the gate, like the first thing we offer, we can't start by just giving that away. Even before discussing prices with potential developers. We need guarantees for our public. So in this process, I would have liked to see, a guarantee that we're going to have real affordable workforce housing. What does affordability mean? It is like this magical word out there without any really clear definition for us in Montpelier. There is a legal definition for affordability, but I want to understand what is affordable for the residents of Montpelier. I don't want to build just luxury units or even just big apartment complex that'll be rentals. I want to really be strategic about affordable and workforce housing. I want there to be a commitment to hire local workers. We know that a lot of folks in downtown don't live in Montpelier. I would love for them to live in Montpelier and to be able to afford to live here. So having that built into the process. and using our local businesses, using our local contractors as part of this process. And of course, having the time, the thought built into this timeline for public transparency during development. So I feel very strongly that these things really need to be negotiated and written into the agreement, not just assumed that we're going to do this. So in the end, you don't just give away land before ensuring that these guarantees are met.
Mhm. So I assume that you talk with local and national expert because you are providing very detailed information to us. So I just want to repeat for our viewers, I am Pelin Kohn, Montpelier City Councilor from District 2, and I am with Adrienne Gil, Montpelier City Councilor from District 1. So Adrienne, you shared concerns from redevelopment experts. What was their advice?
Yeah, so my job as a city councilor is to learn the most I can about a specific topic so that I can make an informed decision. So, as soon as this project came to bear and we started with the subcommittee and started going through this process of even discussing an RFQ, I immediately jumped into action and started reaching out to folks outside of the city staff just to get a diverse set of, opinions because that helps me form my opinion. And really, the consensus was to not, they said, don't include a land price in the RFQ. It's really negotiated based on the community benefits that the developer offers. And it was strongly advised to not sell the public land, but to consider it a long-term lease to the city, which the city owns, and really the control over time. So the approach is this approach specifically is used in smart redevelopment across the country. Once again, this is based on folks that I've spoken to. Adrienne Gil, personally, I'm not a developer, but this is what I have heard from experts, and I just want to share that opinion with the public as we move through this process.
Yeah, and at our last meeting, when we were talking about this, we suggested that we need to inform public in a more detailed way, and we want to be sure that everybody understands the process and the rationale behind this action. So,
Mhm.
city staff prepared like a good, detailed, informative document about this process and this RFQ. So I will add the link in the description of this video. So if anyone is interested in to learn more, please go and check that document. Okay, so the RFQ is already out.
Yep.
So what should happen next?
Yep. So the RFQ is out, and now we need to really think about the future and being transparent and really working together. It's important that the council, the staff, our partners, our community work together in lockstep. This is a very important piece of property for our community and making sure that we get it right. And so, in my mind, there's three things that need to happen. I think we need to protect the public benefit. So, any developer proposals really have to show us as a community the benefits to Montpelier residents. We need to look at the affordability of these units, the economic return, and local hiring. We need to keep leverage, so we should continue to negotiate the land value and financing after we see what the developers offer, not before. And transparency. I am no backroom deals. Like everything needs to be upfront. We need to talk about this in the public. We owe this to the community. We need to be honest and open with decision making, especially after everything we've survived since, the post-flood. And I'll just note that there's a lot of off ramps in this process. So we've seen this RFQ and everyone is, stressed and freaking out that we're selling this land for $1 and we're giving away this land. There's going to be opportunity for public input, and I strongly, strongly encourage you all to get involved as we get responses from the developers from the RFQ. We're going to be able to see them and talk about them and really dissect them in a way that makes sense for Montpelier. And if it doesn't, it's okay to say no. So I want to make that very clear. This is not a done deal. There are off ramps that are built into this process. So I am comfortable at this point moving forward and being transparent and working with the community to make sure we do the best job we can.
Yeah, so I know that there are so many other questions related to this process and this action step. So please send your question to us. You can email me, you can email Adrienne, and we just want to focus on this like $1 incentive today only. This $1 incentive because this is the incentive that we most receive questions about it. People are really confused and trying to understand, maybe because there's a specific number in this incentive. I don't know, but we just want to start with this specific question. But if you have other questions related to this process, please send your question to us, and we are happy to record another video on the Country Club Road project and this RFQ and RFP processes. So I have all these questions for you today.
Yeah.
If you wanna talk about other elements of this incentive, I'm happy to hear you. If you wanna give a specific message to our community members, I'm happy here to that one too. So, what do you want people in Montpelier to know about this process?
Yeah, I think just in closing, I would encourage all of our community members to stay engaged. As I said previously, this is not a done deal, but this is an important development for our community. So I would love for all of us to stay positive, stay engaged. It's okay to have different opinions. That is democracy, and that is why, progress moves forward. But thinking of this community as an opportunity to build a resilient neighborhood in Montpelier that incorporates walking and biking and access to healthy foods and building a community that truly represents Montpelier, I feel we can do that and make the units affordable for our residents that live here so that people can own a house. That is what I've heard. They want to move from renting to home ownership. So I want to make that happen and make these, units, whatever they may be, right? They could be homes, they could be small homes, they could be condos, townhouses. The world is our oyster. So let's build something beautiful for Montpelier together.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, everybody has different ideas, but in the end, everybody serves on the council for our community, right? That's very important to all of us. And thank you for highlighting that. So, I think we are wrapping up our conversation. It was very enjoyable for me, although we are discussing all these details at our council meetings. It is very important to me, and it was very useful for me to hear your answers for this important question: why we have $1 incentive for in our RFQ. So again, Adrienne, thank you for being
Yep.
here. And I just mentioned that everybody can email us. So where can people follow updates or contact you with questions if they may have more?
Yeah, I think email's the best. I do my best to respond to any inquiries or questions I have within 24 hours and, you know, reach out. I'm happy to talk to anyone about this. And, we might not agree, but I hope that, we can all have civil conversations and once again work together on a path forward for Montpelier.
Yeah, thank you again. And in our first episode, let me call it, City Councilor Adrienne Gil and me, Pelin Kohn, District 2 City Councilor, we talk about this $1 incentive in our RFQ for Country Club Road. And then if you have other questions, please email us. If you want us to talk about other city issues, please email those issues to us. We are planning to continue this series like a 10-minute video, and we can include your questions, your issues in our series. And thanks again, and thanks to everyone listening. Stay informed, stay involved, and we will see you hopefully next time.
Bye.